Hey YouTube, this is Donna from Donna Bianca Gallery. I created this image. It's a fairy image that I recently created, and I just wanted to show you how I got to this image. I actually started from this basic image. It's image of a little girl who is kneeling on the floor. She's actually laying on the floor with her arms crossed. So I wanted to see what I could do with it. So I started by using a basic levels adjustment layer to turn some of the light down a little bit, and then I remove this this part of the, which is supposed to be the pond. With this part of the pond, I removed it with just a stamp layer because it actually is aluminum foil that I put on the ground to create a water reflection, but it kept raising up, so I just use a brush, a stamp layer brush, and just cover it down. I also, to create the reflection, what I did was I took a copy of the image and I turned it upside down and put it in place. And that's what I use for the reflection, and then I turn the opacity down to about 47%. I also made a stamp visible layer, and then I added a texture over the layer from Adobe. Adobe comes with, well, Photoshop comes with some paper texture extension, and so I chose a texture that I think might work a little bit. And then I actually found that this side of the image was a little brighter, so I used a curves adjustment layer to tone it down some, and then I made a stamp visible layer, and then I added another texture layer because I thought this texture kind of matched the color the picture was already in. So I added that, and I took some of the texture off where I didn't really want it. And so I just kept going by adding more curve layers to bring the picture down a little bit, and then I darkened the edges because when I started I really didn't know what I wanted to do. All I know, I wanted to have a water reflection, and I just kept trying things to see how they would go, and I really wanted to try using textures. And so I added this texture, another paper texture, and this time I put it in color burn, and it really looked like that. But when I saw it, I was like, okay, I like the outlines on the edges of the wings, and I like what it did to that. But of course I didn't like all this other thing here, so I just continued working on it to see what I could do. So then I went ahead and I added this light layer, which is another paper texture. See, I used a lot of paper textures, and it brought up the wings even more, but it was still just too much on the girl's skin. So I went ahead and I put I made another stamp visible layer, and I put it in overlay, and this is what it did, and I really like that. But it was a little bit strong, so I added a hue saturation adjustment layer to tone the, the strength of the saturation down a little bit. Now my Photoshop on my computer keeps sticking because it's a really old computer and it is pretty much slow. So then when I was finished with that, I added in some stars in the bottom, and then I kept adding a couple more stars, different kinds of stars. So you see there are two different kinds of stars, and then I realized I didn't really care too much about the reflection. I no longer needed a reflection, but I kept it anyway. So I just kept some more stars, and then I added a white layer, which is kind of to make the image look a little bit foggy, because when you're doing fairies always have this kind of mythical kind of thing about them, so I added some fog, which is really just a white layer turned down to like 22%. And then I added another stamp visible layer, and this time I blurred the background. And I almost forgot to tell you that on the fog layer, well, I took the fog off of her, I just wanted it on the background. And then I did a stamp visible, and I used the camera raw, I used the camera raw plugin to make the image a little bit soft. And again, I took it off of her. I just really wanted it to be on the background, and because I wanted to give the image a softened kind of image, give it a little soft feel. And then I added a light ray and duplicated the light. Then I duplicated the light ray to make it stronger. But I didn't like the fact that it was white. I wanted it to, match with the color already of the image. So I added a hue saturation layer to bring it into harmony with the image. And then I went back and added another white foggy layer over it, and this time I turned it down to 89%, and I really like that, so I added some fairy glow spots, and then I added another set of spots, and I find this look really, really nice. But there's some technical little things that I could have done. Well, I added the shirt was kind of white, and when I made the layer, the extra layer, and turned it into color burn, the white looked a little bit washed out. So I added some color onto the shirt again with a hue saturation layer, but then it gave me all of this black thing or extra pigmentation around the arms and on the shirt, and I just used a brush to brush that out. And I will show you on my other image what I did. I went ahead and I created a background layer with a color that I liked, and I added 2 different set of brushes on it in just colors that I chose, no real science to it. And then I added the picture over that background that I made with the flower brushes. And then I opened up the smart object, and I try to clean up the arms a little bit, so you can see it's actually reduced. It's not as pigmented as it was. And then I just put the little girl's name on here, and that's how I created this image, and I hope it helped you. And so if you like this image and you like what you saw and you want to leave a comment, please do so. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so as well. So I thank you very much for watching.